tonight. I'm going to say a couple of words now. Hello everyone again, my name is Brea Scott. I'm a European settler here on Turtle Island. My mother's British immigrant. My father's family immigrated from Eastern Europe in the early 1900s and earlier from Scotland in the early 1800s. I grew up in Williams Treaty Territory, lands that were illegally stolen from the Chippewa, Michisapequa, and Huron-Wendat, who were later criminalized and arrested for foraging and hunting on their traditional territories. That settlement only came about 150 years later in 2019. Today, I stand in solidarity in the Dish with One Spoon territory against the colonial government who seeks to uphold racist, assimilatory, and apartheid systems that amount to nothing less than an ongoing genocide. I stand in solidarity against a government who seeks to poison the one dish that we all eat from, and I implore upon the empathy of other settlers who may be watching this, especially the youth of our many nations. I am calling on the federal government for proper ratification of UNDRIP with proper allocation of funding and personnel to do so, with special attention given to one of the most concerning and most ignored stipulations, SP 13, or the ending of coerced sterilization. Something that happens to this day and for which our government is involved in multiple class action lawsuits across multiple provinces. I will remind, yes, shame. I will remind the federal government that this is a crime as classified under Article 2, B, C, and D of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, aka the Geneva Conventions. Shame, yeah. Secondly, I call upon the federal government for proper implementation of the 94 TRC calls to action, 81 of which remain unanswered and 0 of which were fulfilled in 2023.
Shame!
The calls specifically 2, 9, 19, and 39 referring to child welfare, education, health, and justice as a means of addressing the ongoing millennial and Gen Z scoop, the inequalities of on-reserve education funding in comparison to non-Aboriginal education funding, healthcare inequity, and the current brutal police state violence that we are still reeling from, having had 11 people murdered and a number of aggravated assaults or shootings across all nations in 1 month by RCMP, provincial and municipal police forces, most recently of which, Joey, showed the use of hollow-tipped bullets which were used to kill an unarmed man. I call on the federal government to address the hundreds of boil water or do not consume advisories, which are a direct result of failed consultation or economically exploitative practices through the Mining Association of Canada in resource extraction, ignoring hereditary chiefs and elders, and for them to stop brutalizing, criminalizing, and over-incarcerating land defenders and water protectors. Clean up the half-a-century-long mercury poisoning in Dryden in Grassy Narrows now. I finally address the youth, of which I am one, who may be watching this broadcast. If you are angry, you feel you were robbed of the true history of this country, you feel you were tricked out of our collective heritage, and thereby given little chance of reconciling a future, you are not alone. Decolonizing your own mind is a painful and deeply upsetting process, and it doesn't help that our leaders would rather go bungee jumping on the first ever TRC day than humble themselves next to the people that taught them to live on this land and whose cultures we have stolen. Those are not our leaders. Our leaders are here today. The aunties, the uncles, the elders, our cousins, who just want a chance at life. Listen deeply to them, learn, grieve, change, act, and be better. Thank you. Merci beaucoup, Miigwech, for allowing me to speak.